Alright, I guess we're on. Alright. Alright. Just 1 second, people. Alright. Hey guys, just want to thank you all for participating in this year's DC-Cember. It's been an interesting look at the Batsuits, and a few results surprised me. I was not expecting the main Batsuit to did not have been featured on the list. But today I want to talk about some of the suits that didn't make the cut. And if any of you have any comments on which of your favorite suits they felt like should have been featured in, let me know. Because there are definitely some that I feel like could have been a little bit higher, because a friend of mine has pointed out to me that a lot of the Batsuits are very similar. Especially in animation and comic books. You know, you can put them all together and they will look pretty much similar. Especially between Young Justice and even like with the DCAU version. Like with the 90s Batman animated series, or more so the new Batman Adventures in TMBA. So let's get started. I guess first I want to start with the honorable mentions that were featured that I've mentioned in my last video. For one, with the Brave and the Bold. For that one, that was a very popular vote. There was definitely more positives. Just it was tied between some of the lower numbers on the best list, and as you've seen with the results, but I could see why, just because while it is great to see the usual like gray bodysuit with the blue cape, you know, it's again, because when you look at this and even with the 2004's the Batman suit, it's no different than the 90s animated series suit, you know, because it's all the same style suit, just with, you know, a few different features adjusted, like for instance, the shorter ears, more blue, less black on the costume, and even with the symbol changed a bit, at least more so for the 2004 Batman suit. Another I was hoping that would have made it would be the Flashpoint Batman suit, because it is so different than the others. Just for how it has a more red color scheme with the eyes, the symbols, and of course using the guns. And it's just hard to believe that this is Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father. Just makes you wonder how things would have turned out differently. Let's see. And then surprising for those that didn't realize it, but as far as for the others, for the honorable mentions for the worst Batsuits, that was the first appearance. Let's see, it was first appearance Azrael and Beware the Batman. I would say for a first appearance, if you're going by just with the original comic book look, which was influenced in the new Batman Cape Crusaders, it's very simple, and plus I feel like it's more so, I guess, how elongated the ears are. Because it's just not a great look in comparison. I mean, but it's the very first appearance, so it has some value, but I also think generally it's the purple gloves. I feel like with the purple gloves, it's turned people away. But that's why I'm glad that when we got to the new Batman series, they changed the color to black. So it makes it look better. Although, personally, I don't mind the elongated ears and even how it's differently shaped than other Batsuits. Let's see. Then I say for the next biggest one would have to be the Ben Affleck suits. So far, it looks like they're more or less in the middle. Although the closest highest would be from Ben Affleck's Justice League suit. More specifically, the tactical suit that has like the night owl like goggles. Because I'll just say it, I think that's my favorite suit from Ben Affleck's time as Batman because it's not so bulky. The cowl and the neck design, it it seems more rather fitting because I don't know, I'm not crazy about how the cowl looks around the neck in his usual outfit. Let's see. Then who else has not made the cut here? Because besides Ben Affleck, that might be it for with live action suits. Because pretty much we've gone over the major ones, and let's see for other unique comic book suits. There is also like this Batman 1,000,000. It's a very rare, unique look for the character, where it's kind of reminds me of Black Panther a little bit, as far as for how like with the mask it covers the whole face. You don't see the mouth or anything. You don't see any mouth or lips moving. And it's interesting how the whole symbol it's also more of a whole chest piece that wraps around the shoulders. It's a pretty cool look to me. But for how the voting goes, for how many people that think it's amazing, there's also people who think it might be the worst. So that brings it down a bit. Let's see, and I think as far as we're getting down to other suits, I do regret to inform that there are some that I did forget to put in. Most notably, the Gotham Knights suits on one of the recent video games of DC. For a while, you don't get to play as him. You do see his suit, and it's kind of like a rebirth. Granted, it is kind of like a rebirth suit, just with for how like the symbol has like a yellow outline around it, and it's more gray. But let's see, and it's not bad, and plus you get to see like how like the white eyes do a coverage of the. Let's see, 1 second. Do a wide cut. You get to see like the white eyelids around it all the time. It's not just whenever he does like detective mode like in the previous games. Let's see, and then there's also the Batman Who Laughs, which I feel like I should have probably put that in because I imagine that would probably have gotten quite a lot of votes. For that look was pretty much going around with conventions, video games, and other things throughout Batman's history. Let's see here. Yeah, because see, and besides that, let's see. As far as for with the guess we'll go over with the live action suits, particularly with Christian Bale's outfit, because I have seen a lot of the comments of how people prefer Bale's first suit more than the second one. And upon re-looking at it, I can see it because the cowl design of the first one does look better than the first one, I think, because my friend Sav was right that in The Dark Knight his suit just looks like a bobblehead, and I think that it seems like more uniform, whereas this one with his second one, it's like very I don't know, just how like the plating, how the pieces are aligned. It's still in uniform, I would say. Just very I don't know, just looks too armored, I think, for Batman. But I think that's because for most of us, we're used to like how it looks in the comics, where it's just a bodysuit. I mean, I think if they could for the Dark Knight Rises, they could have just done like a mixture of the two outfits together, design wise, just to make it stand out. Let's see. And then for the Arkham suits, as I shown you, that for Arkham Knight, that was the most voted among the games. The only one that came close was the main suit from Arkham City and Arkham Asylum slash City. For while yes, the symbol is a bit different between the first two games, as far as for the rest of the design of the suit, it's basically the same. But I'll admit there is something more I like about with Arkham City and Arkham Asylum's looks, because it really gives that how it's live action, but it feels like a comic book as well. Because when I look at the design, just it really makes me think of Jim Lee's look, just with the longer ears. Though, like I say, for Arkham Asylum was pretty close too. Because for that one, that sneak twist of how it's like very New 52, just a bit more padded, and the cowl design is kind of like is kind of like the Dark Knight, but I think there's some adjustments with the neck, so that way Batman doesn't look like a bobblehead. Let's see. Let's see. Then for with Michael Keaton's Batman, that was a close one because though it looks like there's more votes with the first, there was more votes with the first suit, and even that came a close second, more votes for his recent suit in The Flash. And I'll admit, like I mean, I think I am more partial to his design in the first movie, but because as I stated in the previous video, that with that design, it looks very more elemental, looks more creature of the night. Because with the second suit, while the cowl is, I think, better adjusted for the rest of the bodysuit, it just looks more armor. Like I don't know, it doesn't look like very much. It looks more like a fake armor type of thing, not so much like very elemental kind of thing. It looks more teched out, which makes sense because for Batman, he's usually more of the tech guy in DC. But I feel like with the Flash suit, it's a good mixture, I think, of the two. That's a good balance where his suit's more teched out, but it does have that elemental feature. Let's see. Now for other worst suits, let's see. I wasn't sure about Azrael. I figured for Azrael that would have been a good middle ground. For it definitely has a very imposing look, especially for one of the few outfits here that's not worn by Bruce Wayne. But it is a little bit too techy for Batman, because it looks like just a mini mecha suit. And I think just a little bit too flashy with all the gold, with so much yellow around the chest piece and everything, and everything. Although I say for how with the cape and the pointed tips on the shoulders, I think that to me that works. But at least this look didn't last too long. Then we got Beware the Batman. That that is not really my one of my favorites. Like, I mean, I don't hate it, but it's weird like how we see more design on the lips when he's in costume, and yet when he's Bruce Wayne, we don't see that design. And they go with the usual, like with the they've definitely gone with a very first appearance design aspect with the long ears, but I don't know. I think if it wasn't CG, like just regular 2D drawn, then I would have liked this more. Still, I find it funny that for as far as with the worst suits, that Adam West got pretty much around the middle of the worst list. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, because it's part of history, you know. Because Adam West was one of the first few people to have ever donned the costume, so there wasn't much to go off based on before. And at the time, that's what Batman was wearing, just a regular bodysuit. I would say there was definitely no armor plating until at least 90s in the comics, 90s, early 2000s maybe. But it really showcases how, with the people who voted for this, that they have a preference for how Batman should be. And of course, still, if anyone has any other suits that they want to mention here, feel free to type away on the live chat here. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on which suits you think should have made the best or the worst. Let's see. Let's see, because funny enough, in my when I've done my voting thing, there's a lot more suits voted among the best than there are for the worst. Because it looks like for DCU wise, for the worst, is that giant exosuit that was featured in Batman Beyond. That, for some reason, was voted among the worst. And I don't see how, because it's a very cool mech suit design, I think. You know, something to go about if you're facing off against a mind-controlled Superman or something. But not to mention it had one of the best fight scenes in the show. You know, seeing Bruce geared up to fight against Ink, hearing the classic theme with the guitar riff, it's just, what more can you ask for? But, oh well. At least for that one, that was voted. It was almost a tiebreaker, I think. But it looks like for that one, it was voted equally among with both amazing and worst. But there was slightly a little bit more on the worst. So you cancel those two out, then you just get like 1 or 2 votes total. And it led more to, and as I said before, it led to the worst. Now let's see. Now it looks like for other comic book designs, some that made close to the list was, let's see, the Batman Rebirth design, as well as Zero Year. Zero Year was basically a modern first appearance Batman design. Excuse me. Because that one had like very, looks like there wasn't so much padding on the suit design. It had the black and blue outlines and having the purple gloves, just no trunks. And I want to say during that time, Batman also was using a bow and arrow in some comics, so it was very Green Arrow influenced. Still not crazy about with the purple gloves, but I guess purple becomes a mainstay of Batman for a while. For, as I mentioned, the Rebirth suit featured that aspect mostly with the inside of the cape. I forgot what you call that area exactly, but there it has some purple, and while the rest of the cape is more pure black, and again, no trunks, it's not so heavily armored, and with the symbol, much like in the Gotham Knights video game, there's a yellow outline around the bat. Let's see. And as far as for with Bruce's main DCAU suits, of course, the classic '90s anime series suit was voted the most, though the Justice League look was a close second. And I'll have to say, I think I'm not sure as far as for Bruce's main suits, which I like the most, because I liked all three of them for different reasons. But at least with the Justice League suit, it's a good middle ground for how like it's you get the blue highlights back, but you know it has like the ellipse symbol and everything, and with the longer ears, he looks more intimidating, I think. But I'm not gonna lie, he does look. I think it looks better when his cape is all black and you just see like gray, brownish outlines instead of the blue. But that's just me. Now, for other video games that were featured on the voting part of the list, there was the Injustice games, as well as Telltale. And I'm surprised how with looks like for half of the Injustice games they've made the list. Let's see, because the as far as for the best list, let's see, both versions of Batman from the first game were on the list, and Batman's main suit in the second game. Though I have to admit, I think for Batman, at least in my opinion, I like his suit better in the second game. How like the armor is displayed on the other main suits, it just didn't work for me. And it looks like for the worst list, the only one that came down to that for the Injustice series was the Krypton suit that you would see near the end of the second game. Which I think that's fine. It does look a bit ridiculous to me anyway. But hey, you know, sometimes with facing off against Superman, you gotta worry more about function than style. Let's see, then for his other... Let's see, I think that's it pretty much for the main ones, because, let's see... For others that made the worst, let's see... That pretty much covers it for the worst, yeah, because it looks like as far as the worst, there was one of Alex Ross's design, I think, from Kingdom Come. Yeah, the Alex Ross design of Kingdom Come was definitely was voted among the worst. Same with the original Dark Knight Returns suit when he was faced off against Superman, the giant mech suit. But that one I'm kind of mad because I think with Ben Affleck's movie, the armor design got a major improvement than the comics originally had their look on it, and it shows, because I like the fact that in for Ben Affleck he has the glowing eyes that kind of resemble the usual white eyelids, and it's not so bulky. While it is definitely heavily armored for protection against Superman. So I think that's why I definitely got more votes, although it was still pretty much low to make it to the top 12. Part of me thinks I think I should have probably narrowed down, probably made a secondary voting for whoever was left with for the remaining best suits, especially for those of multiple of the same series or franchises together. Oh well, live and learn. Because I don't see much other suits that were featured. As far as for mech design suits, there was I think it was called the Hellbat suit from when Batman was going to Apocalypse to rescue Damian, and then there was one that was kind of inspired from the 60s Batmobile design. I think it was called a comic called Justice. I have not read it yet, but I thought the design was pretty unique for Batman as far as for an armored suit. So I guess it goes to show that the red symbol was not all, but for the red symbol, it did not all start with Terry McGinnis. Because I'm not sure when that Justice comic came out for. But I want to say it came around the same time as Batman Beyond. I have to double check. If not, maybe a little bit after. And then there was also the suit from the anime movie Justice League Apocalypse War, where he was being mind controlled by Darkseid and had where he was tied up to the Mobius chair. I think his look was different with not having a red symbol, but I thought it looked pretty intimidating, because honestly, to me, you can't go wrong with a red-eyed Batman. Then I say last but not least, for within the DCAU, we got also the Justice Lord Batman suit, which I thought was pretty cool, like a very opposite of the Batman Beyond look. Because I mean, if you compare the two symbols, they're basically the same, just minus with a silver one, and how the suit's all black, just having a gray on the top of the cape. Because, of course, for making the Justice Lords, they had to make them different than the Crime Syndicate, whereas Owlman usually has a more gray bodysuit, so this was a more balanced combo to create a different version of Batman. And as far as for the Telltale games, I forgot to mention about that, because, yes, there are two different versions, because some of the plating and designs of it were adjusted. I see a comment here from Blue Knight Beyond. Hi there. And yes, for the Hellbat armor, yeah, because it looks like for the voting on that one, there was 15 votes for on the yes category, but then 6 for the worst. So subtracting that made it lower. That barely made it. Like I said, I probably should have just done a secondary voting just to narrow everything down to 12. But yeah, of course, for that suit, it does look very intimidating with the metal wings, the visor on the helmet, and with the claws. Like, yeah, this would be the kind of suit that you want to bring to a place like Apocalypse. But I think that's what makes Batman such a unique character. That you can create all different kinds of suits that is going to be very appealing to fans. And I think with how I done the voting system, it's on this. This is my first time using Live Tier Maker, because I was trying to find something that would utilize images, and want to make sure I could bring in as many as I could from all different types of sources of Batman. Though I think my mistake was that I did not put any words behind it as far as for like where would they come from. or like like what movie, what comic, what version, all because basically all what people were basing off was just how it looks. And for how I done the voice system, I told them to pick like up to 10. 10 of what they thought would look decent. Just as that way I could I could eventually narrow down having like, a good top 12 for both best and worst categories. But I think next time if I do something as extensive as Batsuits, I'll definitely have like a second round. Because I want to say for those that voted for the total results of under the best category of suits, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Yeah, like technically over 33 suits that were voted among the amazing. And only 21 were voted among the worst categories. So yeah, I probably should have had like a second round just to narrow that down to 12. But luckily for next year's DC-Cember, I'm going to be changing up a bit. For while it will be two subcategories, but that's why for next year I'm going to go with the top 12. Well, technically, I guess overall top 24 DC movies. Just I'm going to be splitting that up between 12 for with the previous DC shared universe, everything from Man of Steel to Aquaman 2, and then the other 12 will be any independent movies. Just so this way we can see where would the new Superman movie rank up after it's out next year. Let's see though. What did you say here? Yeah, that's right though, Blue Knight, because as we've seen over the years, there's really no limit to what you can do with Batman. And that could be whether or not it's within the main timeline, different versions, even if it's not even exactly Bruce Wayne. Because, I just realized, I mean, it probably wouldn't have gotten very far on the list, but I probably should have included Batman from Justice League Gods and Monsters. Because even though that's not technically Bruce Wayne, that is the Man-Bat character, Kirk Langstrom. Yeah, I think that was it. Kirk Langstrom. He has a unique design suit and everything. But, oh well. I guess I was trying to keep it to mostly with Bruce Wayne suits, even though I did add Flashpoint, which is Thomas Wayne's suit. But I'm here to talk about that today. Where's that quote from? Blue Knight? That's actually pretty good. Right or wrong is arbitrary. Each story adds a worthy chapter to the Batman mythos. I like that. Yeah, that's a good quote. Is that from a comic book or from a show? Because I feel like I might have heard that before. I can't think where. Let's see. Well, I think that's probably it for what I have here for the best and worst list. But for any of you viewers, I mean, tell me what you think of the Justice League Gods and Monsters look of Batman. With how it's a good even ground, I guess, of white and dark purple, I guess you could say. Do you think that suit works for Batman, even though for that one he's technically a living vampire? Ah, yes, I remember that Batman anime series book. I definitely want to get that one of these days if it's still available to find. Because I feel like no matter how much time has passed, for my favorites, it's always going to be with that classic Batman series and to that extension the DCAU. And to me, they've done everything right with showing the beginning, middle, and end for Batman's story. But yeah, Blue Knight. I mean, is there any other suits you feel like should have made the cut besides the Hellbat armor, or because so far I've pretty much gone over what was featured here. So let's see. As far as for worst, there's not much here. Not much here that already hasn't been shown. Just still baffles me how for the main suits of Val Kilmer and George Clooney, they were close, but didn't surpass like their other suits that were shown later in the movie. Oh, I bet you do. Yeah, it's just so many suits, and yet so much gray body suits. Because what looking at all these images I have, yeah, because a lot of these are all more or less the same. You just gotta look at the type of gadgets that they have. But so that's what makes Batman so great. It makes me wonder what they're gonna do next to change up Batman's look, especially for the DCU. I mean, the James Gunn's DCU, that is. I guess I call it Anime Universe because so far the first thing we've gotten of James Gunn's that's officially part of his new universe is anime with Creature Commandos. And we did get to see a little bit of Batman in the latest episode, if you haven't caught up, just in a very post apocalyptic future. But it looks like he has longer ears than normally seen in the movies. At least it's a different design than Robert Pattinson's look. Because I know that's debatable, how they're thinking of maybe incorporating it or doing their own version of it, but we shall see. Sorry, 1 second. Let's see though. What? Oh yeah, yep. I've talked. Yeah, I mentioned about the 0 year rebirth suits. Wow, yeah, that's another one I forgot to mention. The Ruby Batsuit. Now, do you mean like the one in the first movie or the second movie? Because the first movie, he doesn't really have much of a costume. Like he's just wearing regular clothes and just then has bat wings, just because he's more of like a furrier or something. Well, Blue Knight, I guess you definitely have more knowledge about the comic book looks of Batman than I do. Because I know there was a Nightwing Deadman mix up, so to speak, or at least of Nightwing being the new Deadman as Deadwing, but I never knew there was a Deadman Batman mashup suit. But yeah, I did mention about with 0 year. I mean, it's not bad. I think what puts me off with 0 year was again the purple gloves. Okay, yeah. For Ruby, I felt like, it's. I guess with the mainstream Batman suit, like, it's nothing different than we haven't seen before, so that's probably why I didn't put it in, because, like, it's just simple gray with the whole gray and black suit. And again, like I said, for the first look of Batman in the Ruby universe, it's just, it stands out. Just a bit kind of funny that you give Batman wings. Well, I don't know. I mean, still, send me what you got then if you have some unique designs, because I'm not all about, like, keeping things like the same. Because that's why for Just League Gods and Monsters, I did kind of like the design changes for Batman with for how it reminded me of Batman Beyond, for how, like, it just has gliders for wings, and just like they has, like, the red goggles and with the black or dark purple and a little bit of black bodysuit with the white outlines. Yeah, but no, like, just send me an image of what you got for your Bassett design. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Especially nowadays, how the trunks came back in design for both bats and soups. I feel like why even change anything for cost designs if you're just gonna go back to formula? Like I say, as I mentioned before, I did like the rebirth design for its not so heavily armored. Oh, well, if you follow me on social media, you can send that to BD96 on Instagram, and that is, let's see how I tape it. Yep, and it's spelled how it sounds, just BD96. But yeah, as I was saying, for with the rebirth, it's a good middle ground for how it's, no trunks, not as heavily armored, and I kind of like with the purple color on the cape. Well, the inside of the cape anyway. And yeah, for Justice Unlimited, yeah, because Justice Unlimited was one of my favorite series, and well, that was voted amongst some. Just there was a little bit more votes for the classic '90s Batman suit. But I'll say for anyone watching, what are your hopes on what either the new Batman suit for the DCU should look, or even more so, should Robert Pattinson get a new upgrade to his current suit? Because I find it amazing how that suit barely got in the middle of the best. But please feel free to share your thoughts on that. But if nothing else, I'll probably be signing off soon, because I think we've gone through pretty much more or less all the major suits that were featured, why they were featured, and what didn't make the cut. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Sent a request. Let's take a look. All right. Just accepted your request, Blue Knight. Let's see the. Yep, just got your request, man. So now you can send me what your design is. And yeah, I agree. For with the movie Batman suit with Robert Pattinson, yeah, I think the gauntlet should be adjusted because I feel like that he has like all these like little arrows or little knives on his gauntlets. I feel like what's the point of that? And yeah, maybe something to do with the cape and yeah, I guess maybe it's spiky, something different, and maybe with the cowl. I don't know, made the cowl make a little more uniform, not so much patched together. Oh, yeah, that's actually a pretty good design, Blue Knight. Actually, yeah, I really like it. Like the it's a good blend. Like it reminds you of the '90s series, and you got the purple gloves from like the original suit, and you with the yellow outline. Like it's from the Rebirth. Yeah, that's a really good mixture. I like it. And it looks, and I guess for the second shot, you went with a design that doesn't have the yellow outlines, or is that just more of like just not in enough detail? Because hmm, yeah, I'm not sure if I like more the longer or the shorter ears. I like both. I like both these designs. It works, and I kind of like how I think I definitely like the utility belt design more on the second image you sent. Hmm. Okay. Well, it looks like okay. Yeah. So no, with the longer with the longer years. Okay. Yeah. Hey there, Batman in the chair. Is there any suits you feel like you think should have been featured on the list? Yeah, I definitely see the year one inspiration for this on the second image. Yeah, you done good work, and I like the cape design, and I definitely like how you use like the Arkham symbol on your suit with the yellow outlines. But what do you think Batman's suit should be for James Gunn's DC universe? Because I know right now with the Superman suit, it's very divisive. And let's see. Well, yes, Batman the chair. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't caught up yet. For the George Clooney suit, his Arctic suit was actually ranked at number 3 on the worst list. As far as for the main suit, it was close, but there was just more votes for the Arctic suit than the main one. Yeah, because apparently, I guess there was two more people that voted for it the worst, and surprisingly, there was comparing the two versions that George Clooney wore, there was slightly actually two more people who thought it was better than the Arctic suit. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think something classic with either black and gray or blue and gray. And judging from Creature Commandos, we might get to see a little bit of that, but we shall find out soon. But yes, Blue Knight, I definitely agree with you. There should definitely be that design, because as I've stated in my earlier videos, the Arkham Knight suit, that's how they should go about for making a live action Batman suit, with the gray bodysuit and everything, and have it look more in uniform, so to speak. Or at least even the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City design. But yeah, Batman the Chair, just to sum it up again, it looks like people disliked more of the white highlights and white highlights on George Clooney's suit more than the main suit for some reason. Ah. But yeah, Creature Commandos is pretty enjoyable. In some ways, it reminds me of Justice League Unlimited for when they focus on certain characters, and for how expansive they go with their missions. Like, it's not just, in Metropolis or anything. Like, they go to other countries and stuff. Yeah, and sorry guys for that spoiler for Creature Commandos, but yeah, there's just a vision of a dark future, and just you do get to see a little slight shot of what Batman will look like, I guess, as far as the James Gunn's universe. Just that it definitely looks different than Robert Pattinson's suit, so they're probably still gonna keep them separate. Hmm. Well, I mean, Batman the Chair. I mean, the voting's already closed. I already done all the 12 for both the best and the worst. But if you want to send me an image of your best design, go right ahead. Just just send it to my Instagram, BDKnight6. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so are both these let's see, are both these images Batman in a chair design, or just the last one, Blue Knight? So I definitely like the definitely like the, definitely like the last one. Okay, so I guess both these images, yeah, I definitely like the design. It's a good adjustment with the gray suit. It's not so bright color, because I always see, like, with the gray bodysuit, it's always pretty bright. So it's a good middle ground. And just like with the Rebirth, I like the yellow outline on the ellipse symbol. And let's see, then for that yeah, both of you definitely have nailed the blue highlights on the cape design. I could never say that, but I think the little beard on the chin is definitely a nice touch too. Let's see. But yeah, Batman in the chair. Definitely, I like this. I like this suit. It kind of reminds me with the Gotham Knights look, and I think it's also. I think I saw that in the comic as well. Like it's I want to say Thrill Killer. I think it's some kind of like alternate design just because of how high you make the. Something with the design of how the gloves are. Everything. It reminds me, I guess, of the Thrill Killer look for Batman. Yeah, because I think they had a skin like that in the Arkham Origins game. So I mean, do you both have a YouTube channel as well? Well, I mean, do you as far well by that I mean like do you guys both have your own videos or content just like Serum Lake? All right, I just saw your look for the from the 2004 Batman series. Let's see. Yeah, because for the Batman, it's pretty good. Although it does remind me remind me a lot about the '90s suit. Just with the shorter ears and everything, and the longer cape. I see. Okay, so you both make a lot of videos about Batman. Nice. Yeah, Serum Lake is a great guy. I'm so thankful he agreed to be a part of this project. And I'm grateful that you two have paid attention to some of the videos I've posted. Yeah, but I would say that's probably about time for right now. Just want to thank you all for participating here to comment with me, and want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and just stay tuned for more content coming soon on this channel, especially for next year's DC-Cember. Because for next year, we're going to be doing the top 24 DC live action movies. So stay tuned. I just saw your message, Batman in the chair. Let's see. Yeah, Batman in the chair. Yeah, you've done great work. I definitely like the design with the beard and everything. Okay, you make voice dubs. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like, do you do like a pretty good Batman or Joker impression? Well, I'll have to ask you about that later, but I do have to get going. I do get going. Just want to say Merry Christmas to all of you viewers, and stay tuned for next year. Stay tuned for next year. Alright then, well, I'll definitely have to take a look at your channel, both of your channels then. Thank you, and have a good night.